Welcome back to another episode of Whiskey Motorcycles. This week we're back on the Sportster. I told you I had a problem with the front wheel, and I'm going to go over that, and I'm going to at least try to get the front wheel on it. I won't be able to fix it today once you see what it is, and then try to get this off the lift. I want to work on putting the bags and stuff on too, so I'm just going to kind of go over with some of this stuff, and then we'll probably come back to another video later of actually fixing the front brake, or the front wheel and front brake. That was the issue. Let me just go ahead and go over it real quick. So here's the rotor. As you can see, that's not right. Well, when I got this front rotor for the bike, I ordered it, and it was a rear rotor, and I didn't really think anything of it, and I went ahead and put it on there. I mean, it's been fine for quite a while. I'm surprised it lasted this long. But with the front rotors, the hub bolts are smaller. Rear rotors, they're bigger, which is kind of backwards to me, I feel like, because your front brakes should be stronger. But anyways, so I went ahead and put the bolts in it, but the holes are drilled out for the brake rotor bigger. And when I was putting it on there, I didn't notice, because I torqued them down and it didn't move, and I don't know, I guess I just wasn't thinking of it. Rookie mistake, for sure. And as I think I've told you guys before, this caliper, I had to shave down, which I need to kind of touch up again. And I thought it was just having issues with that again. I was riding home from work once or twice, week before or whatever, and I heard some kind of like a whining, from hitting some metal. Just slightly, and I pulled over, and I thought maybe it was just that on the spokes or something again. So I kind of went down the road a little bit further, and it stopped. It didn't last but over a few seconds, and I was like, oh, okay. And then like I said, I got it home, and then I just kind of looked at it and couldn't tell. Thought it might have just been a fluke thing. So I rotored again and waited to see if it would happen again, because I needed the noise to happen to kind of figure out what was going on, or so I thought. And I finally, the last time I had rode it, I parked it, and it was catching real bad. And I was like, damn, I don't know what the deal is. It almost seemed like the wheel was a little bit out of true. And when I got that wheel, it was brand new. I put it on the bike, and it was already slightly out of true, but it wasn't enough to mess with the bike. I could just see it, if I looked down at it going down the road, unfortunately. But the issue was with that front brake rotor, and I had no idea until I started to work on the bike. I pulled the caliper off while it was still on the ground, because I thought that's what was catching on it, because it wasn't wanting to roll right, and I didn't want to force it. So I was taking that caliper off, and I had this bolt fell out on the ground. And as you can see, it looks like it's been scraping on something, and I thought, oh man, that's really weird. And I couldn't figure out where it was coming from, and it was broke off, obviously, one of those rotor bolts. Well, it had came loose, I think, from whenever I would hit the front brakes. I could hear a click sometimes, and I thought it was the neck bearings going bad. I wanted to replace those anyways. Turns out it wasn't. Turns out it was that front rotor going to either side of that slop where that bigger bolt should have been. Well, it had gotten loose, and it came out. It was rubbing right along the inner fork right there. I got lucky it didn't run any further and ruin these forks. It got a pretty good gash in there for sure, but they're going to be fine. I'll just have to deal with this. I ordered a new rotor today, a correct rotor, a front rotor. I think I'm going to keep this one because it's not that old. I want to do some work with the back brakes on this. I'd like to find a different aftermarket caliper and stuff, and I'll probably go ahead and put that other rear floating disc on there, because why not? But anyways, I got that caliper ordered and stuff, or that rotor ordered. So when that comes in, like I said, it'll probably be the next video, or I might even put it out a little later. I don't know, just kind of whenever I get to it. But that's what we'll do for that one. But today I'm just going to go ahead and take that caliper itself off and so I can shave that back down just a little bit more. I'm only going to take a very little bit off because it actually wasn't hitting too much until all that happened. I'm going to have to kind of try to see if I can true up that wheel just a little bit too, and that will help with the caliper hitting it all. And then I'm going to kind of clean that back end up again and polish it back down and clear over it like I had it so it looks nice. But I'm going to do that while it's off the bike, and I want to at least be able to get this bike off the lift, so that's why I want to put the wheel back on it. And yeah, so stick around. I'm going to go ahead and throw this stuff on there and get this bike off the lift. All right, so we got our front wheel back on, and I just gotta torque it to spec and torque my triple trees down to spec, and those are good. I went ahead and pulled the whole line and the caliper apart. I brought it over to my vise here, and I kind of ground it down a little bit more to where I think it needs to be, hopefully. And then I'll kind of like take some sandpaper, step it up a little bit as I go, and smooth it down, kind of polish it up, and then clear it so it looks a little better than just ground down. And then hopefully that'll fix that little bit of issue. That's pretty much all I'm going to do right now. We'll kind of come back to it maybe, but I'm going to try to get it off the lift for right now. And yeah, that's about it. I'll probably add some more to this video in a day or two when I maybe work on those bags or something like that, or whatever. But until then, I'll see you in just a little bit, I guess. Okay, well, same night. I got my stuff torqued down, and I decided to do a little bit more. If you've been following along with the videos, you probably know that. So I just clipped this bag back on there, it wasn't on there. And I have side bags for this bike. They're these little cases. Well, over here on the other side, I'd ran it for a long time like that, but the exhaust is, you know, it's the box sits about right here, and the exhaust somewhat blows away from it. And it never really messed with it too much. It kind of like melted a little bit of the lip, just barely at one point, but it never did much more than that. It was always fine. And then one day I took it just 45 minutes down the highway, and like I'd done several times before, and I looked back and I had a big old hole in the bag, and it really blew it to pieces. I don't even have the top for it anymore. I just kept this so I can drill my holes the same, hopefully. But my thought was I can use these, and I'll kind of try to mock up somehow to rivet it to that and kind of bend it and fit somewhere like that. I'll have to cut them a little bit. I just ordered some small pieces off Amazon that I could, somewhat thin so I can bend it easy. It doesn't need to be real thick. And yeah, I'm for sure going to do it to that side. I may do it to the other side just to see, you know, make them look equal, but I don't know. The pack came with 2, so that's why I figured I might do it. But I'm at least going to try to get this first side done and see where we get with it and what it looks like. But yeah, that's what I'm going to work on tonight. I'm going to go ahead and put this other bag on there. I showed it a long time ago when I first started making videos, but I want to show it again on how I made these bags work. So you just obviously open them up, a little bit of foam there. So each side has this big bolt that's got some spacers on it and whatnot, that when you bolt your bag on, actually I need to take this out first. So as you can see on the old saddlebag bracket, I mounted a piece of pre-drilled flat bar, and then I took the same kind of flat bar on the inside of this bag, and then I have some bolts with washers and whatnot, and then this side I have wing nuts with lock nuts. So I mean they're not really like quick release bags, but that's kind of the idea of it, right? I can take it on and off easily and whatnot, even though they still kind of take a little bit to do. Get a couple of those kind of sticking out a little bit, and then like I say, it just bolts straight up to it. And then I take one of my lock nuts and wing nuts, and I just kind of get them all started. And then on this side I have an Allen key, and then or an Allen key for these bolts, and I just tighten them up that way. And like I said, so this this bolt, it goes through here and through the old turn signal hole. That's where these spacers go, in between here. And then there's a lock nut, a nylon lock nut that goes on the inside and keeps those bolted together. So it's pretty simple. It's decently sturdy when it's all together, and it's worked great so far. So yeah, like I said, I'm just going to try to get that other bag replaced and that aluminum shield over it, hopefully make it look good and protect it from melting again. Okay, so here's what I did for the bag. I just took a piece of cardboard, put it in here flush with the bottom, and then spaced it out from the front, poked holes with a little pick through the thing, and then I taped it in here where I thought it should be, and then I double checked the measurements of the holes, adjusted a little bit. So now all I gotta do is use that template, drill those holes, and the bag holes will be drilled way easier than doing the first time. The first time I like kind of had to try to hold it up there and put a Sharpie on the back where I wanted it, and so a lot easier. So we'll get that on there, and then we'll get to figuring out what we're gonna do with the aluminum. I don't think I really have any good tin snips, so cutting it will be a little bit of a challenge, I think, but I have some things around here. I'm sure I'll find something. Yeah, so let's try to get that knocked out. Well, we got the bag mounted on the other side. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the windshield on here. I don't normally run it during the summer too much, and when I have the bags off. But when I got the bags and everything on there, I feel like it just kind of looks better with the windshield on. It's kind of evens it out. It's a whole fit, you know, whatever. But no, it's I just kind of like the equal look of it. Kind of adds a little more to the front. But I really like this bike stripped down, but I also really like it with all the bags on it. So I think that's pretty cool. Now I just got to figure out kind of what we're going to do about this here. Something along those lines, I don't know. But honestly, I'm just going to probably try to mark it out the best I can first. It's be kind of hard to, I don't know. Like I said, I need to try to figure out how to cut it, that I can get a good clean cut. I'll probably still have to clean it up a little bit. I mean, it's came like that, so either way, I'll kind of take a file down some of the edges a little bit just to take away some of the sharpness. But my idea is to, originally, I was going to try to kind of bend it around this curve, get it flush with this, and then bend it back up. However, the more I've thought about it, I may get some like spacer. Oh shit, camera got loose, my bad. May just get some spacers and mount it flush. But just not quite sure yet. Honestly, I may try that first just because I can keep the same holes if I do that and still be able to bend it out to wherever it needs to go. But yeah, the more I think about that now, that might be the way to go. I think it turned out pretty good. I'm gonna try to do the rivets first, because if the rivets fail or they don't hold real good, I can always put bolts in them. But I have the rivets right now, and I have a bunch of spare bolts, but they're all over the place because I haven't got them in my organizers yet. So it'll be easier and faster to do that. So let's go ahead and give that a shot. All right, hopefully you can see, but got 6 rivets in it. 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. Seems very sturdy. We'll just see how it holds up over time. I did find some little washers to help kind of pull on it, but yeah, it's nice and sturdy. Fits snug where it needs to. The only thing I'm slightly concerned about is I kind of evened it within the space, and I didn't want it too big, but this exhaust right down here, maybe a little bit, we'll see. I'll ride it some and keep an eye on it, and if I feel like it is, then I'll take that other piece and make just a slightly longer piece to go over it. But I'm super happy with how it turned out. I think it doesn't take away from the look of the bike. It protects the bag. Yeah, I'm happy with it. So that's all I'm gonna do this week for this video. Got just about everything knocked out besides that front wheel brake issue. Like I said, I don't have the parts for that yet. My bag's back on. At least I got the front wheel rolling now, stuff like that. So yeah, I'll catch you guys next week. Trying to do a shorter video this week anyways for you guys too. I know they've been kind of long. Even last week's fork steel video was way longer than what I thought it was going to be. So thanks for joining. Like, subscribe, leave me a comment, and we'll see you next week.